Canadian real estate, the story of inaffordability and speculation, the idea that the real estate market in Canada will never crash. We're going to be talking about in this video today how we got here, more specifically in 2021 alone. We did get some data over the past week that talks a little bit more, and we're going to be looking at some key metrics that came out, and we're going to be dissecting them a little bit, and we're going to be giving a little bit of an indication as to what 2022 looks like. So stay tuned for that. But if this is your first time here, my name's Nick. Welcome to Ways to Wealth. A huge favor, a huge ask. If you learn something new or you get some value out of the video, hit the like button for me. I would definitely appreciate that. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on. Better dwelling touched on the topic, and we're going to be talking a little bit how the real estate market has run up over the past year to levels that we thought we wouldn't see for many years to come. And we can see by the title of the article, it is being stemmed by investors. Now, we've known about investors for a really long time, but it seems like the year-over-year growth has definitely grown and by a double. So we see Canadian real estate bought by investors doubled. The odds of a correction rise. That's from the Bank of Canada. We'll go down here. We'll take a look, and we see that the new data provided by the Bank of Canada shown a surge of Canadian real estate investors, and the annual growth of investors purchased doubled in Q2 of 2021. And on the flip side, first-time home buyers, they grew by less than 50% in the same period. Now, we've talked about this in previous videos, that obviously you need new entrants into the market because that obviously fuels growth. That's kind of the basics of economics. That's why countries want to grow their population. If you see a country with a dwindling birth rate, it definitely shows that the economy is slowing down. So you want new entrants into the market. So that is definitely a problem. And if we look at this chart here, it shows the home purchases by investors increased more during the pandemic than those by other home buyers. Now, we can talk a little bit about how money printing trickles down. They want it to start from the top and go down to the lower classes. Well, we know that does not work. That money stays in the upper classes. They get more, for lack of a better explanation, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. That is why this kind of money printing only helps out a few specific classes. What we see in this chart, the red line is first-time home buyers, blue line is repeat home buyers, and the investors are in the green line. And we do see speculation happening on all fronts, but we definitely see the one that it has increased by 100% is that of investors. Now, taking a look at more of a specific province, Ontario, that's where I happen to live. We can see this CBC article showing that recent data suggests people who own more than one property in Ontario make up more than 25% of buyers in the province. So out of all of the home buyers, 25% of them have multiple properties for investment purposes. So looking at the research report, which we referenced before early on in the video, we can see here the volume of buyer segments, and this is dating back to 2011, and it goes to August of 2021, so to the end of the quarter there. And we see the most important line here is the multi-property owners. That's the orange line. We see the first-time home buyer. That is the red line there. And then obviously those are the two of the most important that we want to take a look at here. And we can see that 25% increase over this past event here in terms of the time period of 2021. So what is that all about? We've covered this also before, that during inflationary periods, you do want to own real assets. So commodities is definitely a big one, but real assets is another. So obviously piling that in and looking at it as an investor in Ontario, hey, do I want to own commodities or do I want to own homes, which I've seen continuously increase since 1990. We have not seen a crash We did not see what the US experienced in the 0809 debt crisis, the financial crisis there. So it seems like it's a particularly safe asset, and that's why we're seeing so many people pile into it. And now it's not only just like that first time home buyer, it's also, the investor has kind of taken over and is the majority purchaser in terms of on a volume basis. So that is definitely cause for concern, because obviously there will only be so many people that own a majority of the real estate. Taking a look at this, obviously the biggest thing for me is that I do want to see more first-time home buyers, but obviously we do have the interest rates that are scheduled to go higher in 2022, which makes a mortgage payments unfortunately a little bit bigger, and for somebody on a smaller salary, maybe unattainable. But then, realistically, we need to build more houses. And that kind of leads me into the second point and kind of where I see 2022 going. Obviously, there's new variants coming out, and there's still a problem that we're dealing with on that facet. So there's not enough supply of people looking to put their homes on the market. There's not enough homes being built because there was obviously a construction slowdown at the beginning. There is restrictions in terms of where we can actually build in Ontario per se, if we're going to look at this market and segment into that. We do need to build more, especially if we are following along with Trudeau's plans for immigration. 500,000 people per year is the target. I'm not sure where he's at in terms of achieving those targets, but if we do want to start having more people inhabit and come immigrate to this land, then we do need to have the housing there to support them, and not just, townhomes and whatever. We need affordable housing as well. So what are we looking for? What are we looking at when it comes to 2022? Well, this graph here is something that I don't think we see real estate crashing until we see a inventory in terms of the homes that are listed or the homes that are available start to rise. And we can kind of see on this chart here that the sales to new listings are in red, and the inventory is the chart here, the graph, in blue. And we see that as the inventory decreased, the prices increased incredibly. So basic rule of economics, supply and demand: the less supply you have, the more demand it creates. That has definitely added into the problem. So you have a little bit of investors looking at, okay, if inflation is going to take away 6% of my money, where am I going to put it? Real estate looks like a good opportunity. So boom, you get all the investors starting to pile onto a trend that was already going. And then you couple that with the fact that there's not enough homes on the market. And that's where you see some of these outrageous bidding wars: 100,000 over asking, 200, 300,000. There's been so many different examples. And I guess what in summary is, I don't think this changes until we see more homes being built. In terms of how many homes are going to be built, I know that they're talking about increasing. I know that that was a part of Trudeau's plan, housing plan, when he was running for re-election there. So if they follow through with that, if they can make that happen, then it should definitely relieve prices. But it seems like this overvalued market is here, at least for the time to come. I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I could proclaim when, but it seems like it's a run that will never end, and it kind of defies the laws of physics. What goes up must come down. But anyways, let me know what your thoughts are. Where do you think the Canadian real estate market is on a short-term basis? And any predictions as to if we see a correction or a crash in the next 3 to 5 years. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're still here with me, hit that like button. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Have a great week in the markets. Happy trading.